Welcome Diecast fans, I'm Tom Spanners Watson.
And I'm Frank the Guru Gibbs.
And welcome to your regular DRN report. Now, as always, remember to hit the like button, comment and subscribe, not just on our channel, but any of the channels that you enjoy. It helps all of these content creators out.
Alright, something a little bit different from us in the news. We actually designed and built and have published a sidewall rail for your Crash Races track, and that file is available on Thingiverse for download, so you can print out as many as you want. You just can't sell them, but print them out for yourself. There's a video there from Hotwheels boys as well, and while you're there, why not check out this 3-lane beast that was designed and put up also on Thingiverse by Cody Irons over at Irons Diecast. Nice work, mate, that looks fantastic.
I need to check if he's also put that chicane file up on Thingiverse as well. But the links to our file and his are up on Thingiverse now, check them out. Okay, cracking into the reviews of the racing, kicking off with drag racing over at Scorpio Love Smith. So he was doing an awesome Star Wars theme, and I love that Stormtrooper car, it looks really cool. And I like his little drag track there with the double crossovers as well.
Miniature car racing with his 4-lane to 2-lane to 1-lane track is back at it again as well, check him out.
Now, Gravity Track Grand Prix were doing a monster drag race with 18 cars racing at once. That's right, 18. Now, luckily they did have some good slow-mos at the finish line so you could actually see who was winning, because it was chaotic, and I love it.
Then my Hot Wheels collection had more King of the Garage, and as always some good tight racing there.
Tune Tracks had more of their double curve action, and again we really enjoyed this track because you just don't know until they hit that last straight who's going to win it. You see there the Bel Air catching up, but then this car on the outside lane just overtakes it at the last minute. It was absolutely brilliant bit of racing.
Now, Cleveland City Diecast, the Battle of the Trucks, this huge 200 truck tournament was monstrous, and I loved just how close that race was. It was brilliant.
Mr. Mom's Racing continued on with their Moon Eyes race, and that Beetle is insanely quick. I have never seen a Beetle move that fast before.
Yeah, that's just leaving that bone shaker behind. Wow.
Yeah, he was definitely leading the way, and of course I just love Mr. Mom's track. It's awesome.
Blue Line Racing, we're doing some lightweight drags as part of just a fun quick tournament, and as always high quality action over on his track.
And of course there's always lots of daily racing over at Hot Wheels Calgary.
Then over to Summers Raceway, and they had their 2021 P-Case drag race, so go over and check out which one was the fastest there.
And Norman Verne, I love this indoor drag strip. It's insanely big, and look how close this race is. I mean, that's a long drag track, but you'll see a close-up of the finish line in a second, and it is super close, even over that distance.
Then it was over to Extreme Diecast Racing, where they were running a bunch of Mario Kart cars, and again, lots of carnage as they cross the finish line, which is always fun to watch.
And then finally, Big Poppy Racing had the Diecast Games. So this was a slightly different type of drag race, again closer to Tune Tracks with that double curves. Alright, time for a quick break, we'll be right back.
Release your inner Frank with this classic Give It the Beans t-shirt, available from chaoscanyonmerch.online.
Welcome back, race fans. We're going to kick off the tournament section with Cooper Cabana over at Monster Motorsports, and out in front here you've got Sneaky Bob on what turned out to be a super fast run. He actually is now number 2 on the leaderboard for the fast times of the track.
Diecast Dragger put on a great show. I love this race here. You see the cop right on that Chevy's bumper, then he flips over, gets back on his wheels, but the dude that was in last place manages to slip past as well. It was just a brilliant bit of driving.
Wow, he picked that gap really nicely. Okay, over to Roadrunner Raceway, and quite a bit of carnage on his track this week. So a couple of cars getting thrown off the side of the track.
Over at the home of monster tournaments, being Indiana Diecast Racing, he's kicked off the House Cup. Now that beautiful bright orange and red Bentley there is driven by Phil Fury for Chaos Canyon. Now Phil didn't do that well, but he did manage to push someone off the track, so nice work, Phil.
Yeah, that's just classic Phil right there.
You see it here in the replay, he comes around and just pushes that Woody straight off the side of the track, no mercy.
Another track known for big tournaments is War on I-4, and these supercar tournaments is awesome. This huge big lane track, multiple cars racing at once, and still plenty of room for overtakes and excitement.
Over at Next Gen Racing, there was a surprising amount of carnage over on his track this week as well. You'll see here this dude out in front getting spun around, going sideways, and then he gets hooked up on the sidewall and gets overtaken by half the field.
Looks like he might need to download our track sidewall. Alright, Rick's Diecast Racing, we're back at it as well. So again, lots of action on this track. It's relatively short, but I like that little S-curve into the figure 8.
And speaking of cool tracks, Play's Diecast Racing is such a cool track. Really looking forward to getting our car onto that track and trying out for his Ace High tournament, which should be coming up pretty soon. Hopefully we can do a bit better than that car that rolled in that first corner.
Well, how about let's not harass the other drivers until we see how we perform, okay? Alright, over to Diecast Dude Racing, and again, it seemed to be the week of carnage this week, with a couple of cars that are getting taken out before they even hit the second corner.
Digital Diecast Racing, so this is just a short track, but it still provides a lot of action.
They let the wolves out over at the den, and again, some great car racing action over on this track. Some blocking there from that red car trying to keep the others out, but this black car out in front managed to hold on all the way to the finish.
Now Shark 56, we featured this track in Track Spy last time, so he's actually into his tournaments. Make sure you go and check it out if you haven't seen it already. It's quite a cool looking track, and I just love that sign, caution, adults at play.
Right, Zelda Diecast Racing have moved into the Teamsters event now, so they've finished their Olympics event. And again, some good racing on this track. I love all these little crossovers on there.
And then finally in tournaments, We Race Diecast getting to the end of their hatchbacks tournament. And this one here, you see the red car going sideways and then just gets overtaken right at the end. It was a beautiful bit of driving there.
Okay, into street racing, and we're going to kick off with the Outlaws. Philip the Tank was absolutely on fire this week. This is him against Mike Mays. Mays out in front, and then Mays goes wide, and Philip the Tank just picks that gap absolutely perfectly and just zooms down for the win.
Now we go over to 3D Bot Maker, and this race from this week was awesome. Had a Rolls Royce and an 8 crate, and I was really expecting big things from the 8 crate, but you'll see it there. He did a beautiful move from third up to second with a last minute overtake, but unfortunately just couldn't get through.
Right, now there's plenty of special events. We're going to kick off with our special Halloween event. So it was Halloween Chaos, and this is Grandma driving this log mover versus Knocky Jack in the Mustang there, and those two had one of the hardest battles of the night. It was epic. And then this is Mike Mays and Knocky Jack in the finals, where we had the hanging zombies and also the zombie bowling right at the end. And this particular move here, you got Mike Mays taking out 8 of the 10 zombies, and Knocky Jack with a trick shot you'll see in the overhead. He hits the silver dude in the front with the back end of his car and takes out one of the few remaining guys standing at the back.
Now 3D Bot Maker's Halloween Hot Rods was quite epic, and there was some great racing in this series, and of course there was the big story about what was going on in the tunnel by the finish line at the crossroads, and it was revealed that he's bringing back Food Truck Wars, which is starting up this month, so looking forward to that one. And of course there was plenty of chaos right on the finish line, being that it was Halloween. The spirits were out on the track.
And over to Live Young Diecast, where they had a custom Batmobile tournament. So you had to use a Batmobile, but you could customize it however you wanted, and there were some cool looking vehicles, and I love that he's got that cop car at the back with the flashing lights and everything. I just love those. And there's plenty of action upcoming at Live Young Diecast. They've got a couple of big tournaments coming up. You're going to want to keep an eye out for those.
Checkered Flag Contention did an awesome little Halloween thing. They had a bunch of eyeballs on their track, which caused all sorts of chaos, wiping out quite a few of the competitors, but a lot of fun.
And of course, Flat Rabbit Racing Club continued on with their monster truck tournament, and this is Max Havoc here in the green truck going out in classic Max Havoc style. He was going to lose, so if you're going to lose, you go out in style. Slams into the post with his back tyre and then just gets thrown across the finish line.
Classic Max accident right there. It's not surprising he's brain damaged and got that speech impediment with accidents like that. Hawkeye Hauler Diecast was also doing a monster truck race with his Halloween theme with lots of different lighting on the track and some good tight racing there on this short drag track.
Over at Silver Fox Racing, they were also doing some diecast bowling, but instead of zombies, they were bowling for barrels.
Now, Ghost Jerker have done some great stuff recently, but I really enjoyed this hole-in-one tournament. So they got to throw one car down the track at a time, trying to get that hole-in-one. But obviously there was a big opportunity to overshoot, get into the sand trap with those zombies, which is obviously not where you want to be.
More fun and games over at Junkyard Joust. Check out the air that this red car gets as it gets pounded off the track here. Just gets absolutely launched into the air, which was really impressive.
Extreme Treadmill Racing put on this show, and I love how the cars were quite static for ages, and then there's just absolute chaos as that big group on the side gets broken away, and then the Tankinator's spinning around, he comes back in, wipes out this Mazda Ute, he goes flying. Yeah, it was all sorts of chaos. It was great to watch.
Over at Rust Belt Racing, they were back with micro machines for a Super Slam outdoor event, so quite a lot of action again on this short little track, but if you haven't seen it, make sure you check out Rust Belt Racing.
Tormont Tehran was back with more racing action, so if you haven't seen his track, he's hand-built these Sizzlers with Hotwheels cars, hand-built this awesome track with lots of crossovers, and so it's basically 3 laps where you get back to your start position. A lot of fun. Go and check that out if you haven't seen it.
And then yet another monster truck event for Halloween was the backflip over at Hot Wheels Fun at Home, and they had some great action there. I mean, that guy almost made it, and then you got this dude who comes in, lands heavy on his nose, but manages to keep it together, and somehow manages to keep it on the track. It was very impressive.
Alright, into Track Spy. Now a little bit different, this is the brand new sneak peek of Commotion Diecast track, and this thing looked absolutely beautiful, and really looking forward to seeing the racing coming out on that soon.
Now speaking of upgrades, this is DRC, so this is their last track that they had, but they've taken out those center rails, and it looks like it's going to be really entertaining, and they're also looking to run 4 cars at a time for the first time.
And then Main Street Racers are working on their hill track. So it's still a work in progress at the moment, but that looks like it's going to be really exciting as well. Looking forward to seeing more of that one.
And then finally, Mini Mafia Motors, a brand new track altogether. So this one looks like it's going to be really interesting. I don't know if they're looking to theme it out or if this is how the track is going to stay. But go over, have a look, and remember, if you enjoy what they're doing, remember to subscribe while you're there.
Alright, into the replays of the week, and we've got to start with this one from Marcus Firegon in the Outlaws. That was the most insane cornering around Kahuna Corner there. He does a full Lily the Dog rollover, and he backs down to the finish line for the win. It was absolutely superb. He didn't even touch the sidewalls. It was just brilliant. And then we talked about Philip the Tank before. He pulled around Mike, and then he also took the top spot on the list with this move to get around Ratbird with that last minute overtake. It was absolutely superb bit of driving from Philip the Tank, and he absolutely earned his top spot on the list. Then in the Halloween Chaos Tournament, Nocky Jack with this massive 9 zombie takedown, spinning wildly across the finish line, making the most of the size of his car to clean them up. And look at this last dude, he wobbled but manages to stay upright.
And then one of my favourite wipeouts was Truck or Treat here, driven by Rubber Toe, getting wide and getting water noosed.
That's right, we had to name that move after Mr. Waternoose, being that it was him that got hit.
And then we jump over to Flat Rabbit Racing for this one. This was insanely close for these trucks. These guys battled so hard. Both jumped all the way across the finish line, and it came down to, you'll see it here in the freeze frame, the yellow truck just taking it out by a whisker. Alright, as always, if you want to be part of these reports, head over to redlinederby.com/go/DSPN weekly. There is a link in the description. You only need to post a link to your YouTube channel in that forum. We'll keep checking it. You don't need to post every race. Alright, thanks very much for watching. We hope you've enjoyed it, and if you have, please remember to give us a like and leave us a comment down below.
And a final note from us, there's going to be one more DRN report for this year, then we're just going to take a break for a bit.
Alright, I'm Tom Spanners Watson, he's Frank the Guru Gibbs. We look forward to seeing you next time.